Yes, Sammy! Green light, come on! Here we are then, we're back with the Freedom Lifestyle podcast. And it's a bit of a different one today, and I'm actually really, really excited for this one. We're actually down in Luton, and we're with Diaz and we're with Rayne.
Up the turn.
Up the Luton.
Home of Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a bit about that. But it's mad. They actually, you know, they're both lads in their 20s as well. We've really connected, and they actually run their own podcast as well. We'll put their podcast in the description, the Curious Fijian, because they're part. Well, you're from.
Yeah, our granddad's Fijian, and obviously we've always connected as Fijian because it's quite unique, and we just ran it from there. Really,
I think we've been proud of our granddad's story. Like coming over here, he used to work like cleaning the floors, and he was quite successful in himself from where he come from. So it was nice for him when he first started to have something that resonated him.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be like the Curious Lutonian or something like that. Then it kind of like the Curious Fijian. People look at Fijian. Oh, you Fijian. It's kind of like a good conversation starter as well for people.
It's your roots as well.
Yeah, and it's your roots. Yeah. So, and obviously we're proud of the roots, and obviously we're proud of our granddad and everything he done. So
I love it. So, you know, to give a bit of context to our listeners, a lot of our listeners are like entrepreneurial lads in their 20s. Like, obviously, you boys are very entrepreneurial for even starting a podcast. So let's flip it back a bit before the podcast. Like, what's your story of like what's kind of led you to actually create your own podcast?
So with actually creating the podcast, I'll go back a little bit further. We read a book called How to Own the World by Andrew Craig. And that's what got us started with life and investing and bigger think. We've always had the mindset of we don't want to be average. We don't want to be the 9 to 5. We don't want to always work on a building site. It's always been how can we get bigger and bigger, whether that's starting your own business on a building site, taking it to the next step. And I was actually going to buy a Mercedes. I was sick of my car. I had no heating. Car kept breaking down, and I was like, I'm sick of this. So let me take a finance out and get a Mercedes. Obviously, I'm self-employed, so the percentages were a little bit higher for the finance. That day I went to pick it up. I phoned them. Is everything all right? Oh, we've actually sold it because you didn't put the holding deposit down. Wicked. Went to my physio, told him, he was like, oh, how's your week? I was like, oh, didn't get the Mercedes. He was like, I think you should read this book called How to Own the World by Andrew Craig. He was like, when I was your age, I'd have done the same thing, get the Mercedes. He goes, read this book, sent me all these links, and I kind of was like, all right, let me read this book. I'm interested. Read it, told my brother, told my cousin. I was like, this is good. I think you should start reading this. We've all read it, and it kind of just went from there. It kind of changed my whole thinking.
And I didn't read it for months.
I want to read it now, man.
I've
never heard of it.
Honestly, it's a good book, man.
I put it off because that time I was doing some silly stuff, working, and I just kept putting it off because I thought I was better than that because I was earning money and I was doing a side thing, and I was like, what can I possibly learn? Once I read it, that's when I was like, oh God, man, everything changed. And
just a little insight into how to own the world. How to own the world is basically with what companies do with their pensions. So when you pay a company to do your pensions and you can't take your money when you're 60, you're basically cutting out the middleman and doing that all yourself. Hedge funds, S&P 500, gold, silver,
teaches you everything, the history of money.
It's all about investing. And where to put your money. And we learned that, and
that's a great starting.
But this is why like people don't understand with paper money. They print all this money, but what people don't understand is it's not backed by anything. Like it used to be backed by silver, gold. It's not backed by anything physical no more. So they print all this money. No wonder why we have high inflation now.
Yeah,
because they're always trying to adjust. You can't adjust. The system has to reset. We need a recession. We need it all to reset, and this is all from banks. And that's what people just don't understand.
Do you know as well? So like we're really connected with someone called Dan Dukes, he's a financial goat. He gets it. And banks, they only insure your money up to like 15 grand. So say if you had like 100 grand into your bank account and then all like the money just went, you'd only get 15k back.
Well, why do you think people that sell a house and they've got 60 grand sitting there and they want to take it out, they can't take that money out? They go to the bank and say, well, I want my 60 grand. Do you know how long it takes for them to get that 60 grand? Weeks, could even be months.
They're investing in your money.
Because that money's going into the S&P 500, into all these big companies, hedge funds, BlackRock, and they're investing it and making money back on it. So why should... But we're never told how to do that. Even take your money like that. So... Everyone should
compound interest.
It's a long-term game.
Yeah. Everything you've done from the day you were born to talk, to walk, to learn to play football, to learn to write, to read, was a long-term investment.
100%. Yeah. So what have you boys done now with your money then?
Knowing
this information.
So this is where we go. so we went down the stocks and shares route, started doing that. Lockdown, so this might have been just before lockdown. So then lockdown hit, more time to read, more time to learn.
See, it's funny because when you were talking about your situation in lockdown,
Yeah.
was like a kind of a doom and gloom. For me, it was like
It's game time.
it's game time. Like, I leveled up, and that's that. Like for me, because like I said, I stopped work, life slowed down. You sort of took a step back and thought, oh, actually, there's more to life. You need to learn to get better. You need to learn to do this. When I started reading, I was like, oh man, there's so much you don't know.
Yeah,
100%.
and you don't know what you don't know.
The more you learn, the more you realise you don't know.
And I started to realise, I was like, I don't know shit.
So what age? what age was it that you boys did read that book?
So 2019, I must have been, was it 20? When was lockdown? 2020. So I must have been,
2020.
I would have been 19, 20 in May. So I was 19, he was probably 22, 23.
Yeah, which is sick, like, because my first book was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's quite common. And obviously yours.
See, I went on to the Rich Dad Poor Dad after. We ended up reading that.
There's always that there's always that starting point. Think Great Book. There's always that starting point that sort of ignites that fire because you don't learn about that in school. At school you learn about mice and fucking men. Like, you boys are from Newton. Did you read that?
Yeah, it's mice and men.
Yeah, the first page and somebody already ruined.
Yeah, but that's the problem. These books, that's what they do. Like people say, oh no, but these books don't do no. But people don't understand. It's like the Bible and that. You don't understand. They're all the same books. It's all the same concept. It's meant to light a fire. They're storytelling. It's meant to give you that belief, that system where like I can be better. I can do this. But people just take it so out of concept. It's like being positive all the time. Like it's all well and good just being positive. If you're not acting on things and doing certain things and working it around, it's not going to work for you. You can't just be positive every day and just like.
Well, here's the thing, right? Go down a rabbit hole. So there's especially in the personal development world, it's great being positive, but then this is over toxic positivity. Now, when you go out into the world and it's like, yeah, I'm happy, like everything's great. Like just being happy is not humanly possible all the time. Like we are human beings with a full range of emotions. We flicker constantly from happy, excited, euphoric, whatever, fun to guilt, shame, anger, sadness, frustration, anxiety. We're constantly flickering through all these emotions all the time. So to be like, oh, I want to be happy and like have this over toxic positivity is actually like it's very harmful. A better way to see it is like, well, I'm a human being having the human experience, embracing all these emotions. Let's ramp up the dial. Let's experience the human experience at its richest form. Whatever emotion comes in, cool, let's go with it. Let's roll with it. And that's how you let stuff pass through you. You don't suppress it.
Yeah, no, I'm with it.
Yeah.
And from the investing, and that's one big thing the book gave me. It gave me belief.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
So I've learnt to do this in my own time and I can do it. And that's when I jumped on a Grant Cardone course as well. We were speaking about it in our podcast with you. And I jumped on the boot camp interactive
I've done that.
boot camp.
Yeah, good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
That was
really good.
good.
And I spent
I got upsold.
I spent the whole 3 days
Green
because
light.
it was over the weekend. It was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and obviously it was American time. So I spent the whole 3 days in doing this boot camp.
Bro,
And
we were doing that at the same time,
and everyone was like, "Oh, you're not playing football tomorrow now. I've got to do this course.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you come play football? Why I'll do that after? Well, I can't. I'm coming to do this course. I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to upgrade. We've been very set and forget because that's what the book teaches you to do.
Compound.
Set and forget.
Yeah.
It might be
Invest monthly.
worth.
I just went back to work.
It might be worth $10 today. In 10 years' time, it might be worth $100. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't think it's a short-term mindset. Oh, it's $10. I'll take it now. I'm $90,000 up or whatever. In 10 years, that could be 1 million,
Well,
1.1,
that's it,
1.2.
Have you seen?
it's-
Have you seen with the compound effect? Have you seen the example with the penny and the penny doubles? Have you seen that?
Why do you think Warren Buffett's so successful?
Fuck, it turns
Him and Charlie Munger, because they compound.
Yeah.
You take, obviously you're going to take money out here and there to like maybe compound it into other things. Like you said, investing in yourself.
Yeah,
You're
huge.
compounding. That's
Yeah.
again,
I think
You are leveling up.
You are.
I'm sure Patrick David has a YouTube thing about it. From £1,000, I think it's £1,000. You're 9 doubles away from $1 million.
Yeah, he calls it the doubles game. This is when
You're
I
9
started.
doubles away
Yeah,
from $1
that's
million,
sick.
and he
Wow.
doubles
Yeah.
all of it up. And once you start doubling 400 grand up and stuff like that, well, it starts doubling quick. Money starts doubling.
Yeah.
So it's always how to try.
I've
and
not
double your
heard that
money.
before.
Yeah,
but I fucking.
That's
Well, I
sick,
swear
that.
down there, when you
That's the
brought it
first
out
time
in
I heard that.
2017 and it's called The Doubles Game, Patrick David, go on YouTube and search it up. 'Cause
Yeah.
it is brilliant.
The penny
Brilliant.
one's good, though.
The penny's
Yeah.
mental.
Would you rather £1 million now or a penny that doubles for 30 days? And everyone picks £1 million, don't they?
It's the short-term gratification.
Yeah.
5.5 million if the penny doubles for 30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 31 days,
it's no-
10
you know
over
the
10
problem
mil.
is,
Fucking crazy.
It's
Mad,
knowing,
innit?
it's knowing what you're gonna do with the money. I've got people chucking this at me and chucking that. I am quite reserved. Maybe when it comes down to that sense, I'm not just like a green light. I need to understand things. Whereas a lot of my mates, they went down like a trading route.
Yeah.
They made good money. They went all in, but when they went all in, a lot of them ended up losing money because they don't realize that it's a hard game. Like trading,
Yeah, it's emotional.
Trading
very emotional.
is what people don't understand is with trading. Trading and investing, two different things. Investing's like you're making passive income. You invest, it compounds. Trading's a job. Completely two different things. So when traders were telling me, "Oh, you're at a high, sell your money, do this, do that," like I just could never listen to people. I just thought I pick and choose the people I like to listen to. I stick with that a small circle of people, and I just do what I think I know is best. Stick with them, and for some reason it's just worked out. Everything's worked out.
Obviously, as well with you, Rayne. Rewind back to obviously when you were growing up at school, that you were obviously classed as dyslexic.
Yeah,
and-
I went. Yeah, well, after what would have been Hadrian's, what's that? Year
Yes.
5. After year 5, I was classed as dyslexic. My mum wanted me to go to a dyslexic school, so obviously I went then. But at the time, our mum went mentally ill. So when she was going through this mental illness, we didn't have a lot of money either. And then obviously I was going to this special needs school. So for me, you're taking a completely different person. I was sort of a road person. And then went to this dyslexic school and I just felt like, why me? Everything was like on me. It's like, why this, why that? And even still to this day, it made me feel a bit like stupid. Like when you're talking about like how subconsciously I'm rooted.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I feel a lot dumber than other people. Even though I know now I'm aware of that. And I know I'm not because, like I said, after school, you come on an even battlefield. And then when I started making money, I started to realise you ain't got to be the smartest guy. You've not got to be the, like, it's...
That can actually be a negative being the smartest guy.
Yeah,
Because
there's
I'll hire the
levels.
smartest guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like Rich Dad Poor Dad says, isn't it? Like, he's not the smartest guy, but I roll around with a team of 10 people that are all higher
Yeah.
that will take me to the next level.
What was your like biggest lesson then from going to like a dyslexic school and not going to your traditional route?
Life. You get to see
Expand.
life. You get to see all different types of characters. You get to see people with disabilities. Like our school had a farm on it as well, so I weren't really too much in school. I was doing like cutting grass. I was changing hay for sheep. Like it was very weird. It's very different. But at the same time, I ended up falling in love with it. Gardening, this, that, like cooking, like
Nature.
That school taught you how to live. It weren't school. It's just teaching people how to survive. And that was like probably the bit. When I look back at it now, I'm actually kind of grateful that I went to a school like that. Because now I look back and I think, oh, actually, I could use this. Now I see a lot of my mates and that, they're not even on the same level that I'm on. You're not on that same path that I'm on. It's hard to chill with certain types of people because you're not on my level.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be dread or like hateful, but I'm just like, there's levels. There's levels, and I want to reach the level. Even meeting you two guys today, like it's so refreshing because it's like you two are on a level. Like I want to be on that level. I want to reach that. So that's like
They say it, don't they? If you're the smartest person in the class, you're in the wrong class.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you need to be the dumbest person in the class and learn off of everyone
And
else.
ask questions. Key.
But yeah, that's like he said. Obviously, like our mum left when we were younger. She went mentally ill, so she left. So we grew up with just our dad, single parent. We could sit here and have the victim mentality. We could.
we didn't
why?
get brought
Why
up
us? We
best.
didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have this. We didn't have that, and we don't. We use it as a positive and say, well, let's not put that down on our kids. Let's not carry this burden with us of being upset and being sad, and let's try and exceed and be better and create a better life for everyone around us. And if we have kids one day, our kids and stuff like that. Why carry a burden? Like
I want life hard. I'm grateful. It sounds mad, but I'm grateful my mum went mentally ill. I'm grateful for all this shit that's happened because it's made me the man I am. And the path that I'm on, it's like there's no
Powerful.
stopping me.
yeah,
Powerful. You can't control what's happened to you, but you can control how you respond to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
It's the best way.
Suck
to
it
do
up.
Yeah,
Love
yeah,
it, man.
100%,
Embrace
yeah.
it. Like, this is it, mate.
That's
This is
it.
light. The
Happy.
green light.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come on.
and we're not saying that doesn't happen overnight either. There's probably a lot of years when you're younger. Like I remember a lot of years of crying, of being upset, of why is this happening? Why is this? Why is that? Asking questions. But we're at a stage now in life where it's like when you get past 16, 17, you probably now we understand life a bit more. It's like, oh, this happened and this happened because of that and that happened. Like it's just life.
And you learn from that. That's
Yeah.
like them traumas. You people don't like. You learn a lot from trauma.
100%.
Like, that's where you learn. Like
Yeah.
I said.
David Goggins, you don't learn. You only learn in the darkness. When you're in the darkness and you're in that pain cave, that's when the deep questions. You need to ask yourself the deep questions
Yeah.
and take advice from it.
Yeah.
Like take yourself back to them dark moments, and that's where the podcast comes in. So it started with the investing. Subconsciously, probably started from having not the best upbringing. We don't think it was that bad to ourselves, but to someone else with maybe 2 parents, a good life, they might see it as a really bad upbringing. And it probably subconsciously from there, we just didn't want that. And we didn't want to have that for our kids. And we didn't want to settle for less. We wanted to push the bar higher.
But again, it was them books. He's reading them books. Don't care what anyone says. Like, forget the money, forget everything. Them books light a fire. Like, Think and Grow Rich lit a fire for me.
Sick
Like,
book.
I've read it like 5 times. I'm actually halfway reading it again. Like, it lights a fire. It's just the stories in it. It's just that you can do it. It don't matter what age you are. Like, you just have to keep trying. That's what I believe. Like, I'm going to keep trying and keep going. There's not going to be an age where I just don't stop. Like, you have to innovate. And you see it when people stop within themselves. So they, like, you get to like 40 and they just stop doing certain things. It's like, why did you stop? Because when you stop, you die. Like, you got to keep going. Just keep fucking, like you said, it's the guy with the pickaxe hunting for the gold. Man, you can't stop. This life, until it's over, that's the day it stops.
Life's
So-
relentless.
Yeah, I don't think it ends.
The cavemen
They
wouldn't
don't
have
end.
stopped to
Your
find food.
Soul goes on, man.
Mate.
The cavemen wouldn't have stopped to find food. If they didn't find food for that day, they would have died the next day. They had to keep providing for their family. Like, it's the same principle still applied today in a different sort of way. You just have to take it out and kind of find what.
And when they find food, they eat it. They've got to go out and find more food.
Exactly. Or they give it to the women and the kids and they only have enough, not that much for themselves. So
Yeah.
they have to go again. So,
Yeah.
and then the podcast kind of was born from that. But with the investing, that money doesn't move. Like, I would never take that money out to put into this unless I
But having used you
Yeah.
on today, I've started to think a little bit differently.
When you
speaking
grow
in
your podcast, you got eyes on you.
Yeah, I'm thinking
That
now I could
opens
do a
doors.
couple
Yeah,
of things. I
big
think I
doors.
could invest more on myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done it before quite a bit. I think I could do it more.
Well, I think Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
You know what I mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, Warren Buffett. He actually obviously he invests in companies, doesn't he? He gets shares in actual companies, gets equity in companies. But he says the best investment is in yourself. And like I said, the correlation of people we've had on, there's a direct correlation of people's wealth and in how much they've invested in themselves.
Yeah.
Because you're just like. You can get successful going at it alone. You can. However, you're more likely to burn out if you're going at it alone. It's over. Like, business can be
Listen,
overwhelming.
yeah.
You know.
Human beings, everyone's made the mistakes for us. Like,
Exact-
go get a, like you said, a coach, a mentor. Like
Learn from them.
Kanye West mentors Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio's got one of the most successful hedge funds in the world, like Bridgewater. Like, you learn off everyone. But obviously, the more successful you need to be, the better people you need to be learning. So why not pay the money? Like Alex Hormozy, his girlfriend brought him 4 sessions with Grant Cardone.
Well, Alex Hormones. Did
yeah,
that?
one-off sessions, and he did actually.
No, he invested in. No way.
Yeah, he went to film it to put it out on YouTube, but he didn't. Something went wrong with the filming, so he actually he done a video on his YouTube channel of what he learned from it all.
I need to
and
watch
he took
that.
loads of notes. Yeah, so I'll show you it after, and maybe you can link it for your people that watch.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like
we'll
this.
definitely get that in
And
there.
his wife, for his birthday, brought him 4 sessions with Grant Cardone, like 1-to-1. I think it was like $100,000. She brought him that for his birthday, and he was already successful. Alex Hormozy was already successful at this point, and he still went, well, I can still learn off of him.
Yeah.
I can still learn off someone else.
Well,
And he used it. He had like 4 of them, and he says that he's just going to use them wisely throughout the years. So he's pick and choosing when
That's
he wants
sick.
it.
Well, like Grant's business partner invested in going to the events.
Yeah.
And then he made a statement at the event, and now they're business partners.
yeah,
Bro.
yeah. It's meant
mad,
to
innit?
be.
Get in the room, man. Get around the right people.
In there, innit?
So who's been out of everyone with the podcast and stuff? Who's been the not necessarily been on the podcast, but who's the maddest connection you've got right now that you'd say?
I think for me personally, it's Roberto,
Yeah.
who he has a boxed app, and I've kind of looked. I explained the story to you off air. Like, my best friend from growing up, we're friends from like 3 years old. We went on holidays together, everything. His brother's best friend, who they were friends from young kids, I'd never met him. And I was always around the house. He was always around the house, and we never met each other. Once we started the podcast, he actually built a combat sports app to sell tickets digitally instead of having paper tickets. So all the splits and costs are divided equally, and everything's done digitally. So we got him on the podcast, and that was the first time I met him. And ever since then,
we didn't know before this. When we got him on the podcast, what were we just talking about?
we were just talking about Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
And
We
his
thought he used to fight.
He used to
and then we
fight.
started to realise, oh no, this guy's into business.
got his own business, like you said, went to university, done all that. He said he didn't learn anything in university, and he learned all of his business mistakes in running a business. That's where
So
he learned
true,
everything.
innit? Yeah.
He, for me, probably, there's been loads of people, but if I had to pick someone who I've actually gone back to and said, can you help me with this? Could we meet up? Could you
Yeah.
explain this to me?
Yeah.
It's Roberto,
Yeah.
Melissi. Yeah.
What's for you boys then with the podcast? Obviously, you've got how many? Is it over?
This is 62.
62 episodes. Like, what's your vision with Curious Fijian?
The vision is to just be consistent. A lot of people come up to us and always say, like, yous are consistent as fuck. And I think the thing people missing today is not being consistent. They'll do a few, quit, do a few, take a couple weeks break, do a few. Like, my whole goal is to just consistently just keep putting episodes out. If we can't get a guest on, we'll do it just us three. So
I think I could just do more. I think
yeah,
because it wasn't my vision. If that makes sense, it don't make sense, but it does. Like I normally do things for other people. When he said he needed someone, I just done it more for him. But now his vision is starting to become my vision. But
Yeah.
it took me a lot longer to actually like accept it. If that makes sense.
but with that, and one thing I wanted to do when I left school, I wanted to be a football commentator. I wanted to do journalism and be a football
sick. Yeah,
commentator. I had no grades. I didn't want to go to college. I was looking for apprenticeships, so I thought the best way for me to learn is by learning off someone.
100%,
So
yeah.
sixth form and college didn't appeal to me. I didn't have a media qualification. I didn't have anything. So I went on the building site, working with my dad, working for my dad. My nickname was Monday because I'd miss every Monday. I wouldn't go in because I didn't want it. I hated it that much. I did not go in on Monday, so they called me Monday. Monday. They used to call me Monday Club D, everything. So it's only been like now since starting the podcast, I actually go in on a lot more Mondays because I've got a goal and a passion to like put everything into this channel. Whether it makes something or whether it doesn't, it makes me happy regardless. And my whole goal is to like do videography for people, for sports people, even regular people, and just document their journeys and kind of be there behind the scenes because I'm quite a nosy person. I'm intrigued by everything and everyone. So I just want to be on the inside, like looking in, like, wow, you do this before you, like, for instance, when you're in the back watching someone do boxing, well, you do all this before you go out there and then fight, or the coach talks to you like this, or you've got this relationship. I just the fine details. I'm interested. I want to show
what people don't see.
I want to show everyone what people don't see, whether that's going to a small village in Bali and showing how they make their dinner and how they live and stuff like this, whether that's going to Atletico Madrid and documenting a fan for a whole day, where they go to drink, where they eat, what the best things to do and their experience in a game. That's the end goal with filming. But the podcast is perfect for that because you build up all these relationships with people, and I'm just interested with personal journeys.
And we marathon vlog.
Yeah, I've done his marathon vlog for him. He filmed it and I just edited it all together.
Oh, did you complete a marathon?
Nice,
First
man.
one.
That's sick.
3:26.
That's sick.
How was that experience?
Yeah, hard. Well, actually, I say hard, but it was all right until the last 2 miles, and then that's when it got deep. You're just thinking, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm running around at like a lake, and I'm just like, why? Like, you don't have to be here. It was Christmas Eve as well. It was on, and I was just like, why? And then it getting harder and harder. But they're the mental battles. That's what I signed up for. That's what I wanted. That's the part of it where you're questioning yourself. Are you going to get better? Because who wants to sign up and do 26 miles on Christmas Eve?
Well, most people are down the pub.
Yeah.
Down the local pub every
And
day.
I was
You're running a marathon.
And I was sitting there watching it cold with a camera.
Yeah, I trained. The problem is, it weren't even the marathon. It was the weeks leading up to the marathon. All them mornings that I'd wake up at 4 and I'd go out running before work. And then at the same time, I'm still trying to do some homework. And then I'm coming home and I might go down to the gym. And then I would come home and learn investing or do something else. That's what I mean. Like, there's so much time in the day if you can make it. Wake up earlier. You don't need to be a bitch. Like, I done a marathon and I was training 3 times a week. Like, you can't moan. That's what I mean. It's hard for people when they moan to me. Because I'm like, mate, I make the most of my 24 hours. Like, it's scheduled out. I scheduled out my whole 7-day week. But I'm not saying that goes 100% to plan, because you're going to have days where it gets chucked out the window. Okay, we can adapt, we move on. But the next day, you know what you got to do. So you have a guideline, your days will go all right. Like you said, you need regimen. I just think, for me, it's like an army man. I need to be like an army man. I need to get up, stringent, this is what I need to do. Because you create more time by being like that, in that way inclined.
100%. It's about being clever with the time as well. So, like, let's say, for example, you're in the gym or you're driving to the gym or whatever, that time, rather than blocking out separate time for like personal development, what you could do is you whack your earphones in, or listen to a podcast, listen to the audio about, like, you can
Audiobooks at work. I've got 7 hours a day that I go to work on, like, even though I need to work, but it's such a waste. But in that 7 hours, you
7
can
hours
listen
learning,
to so
innit?
many podcasts and learning
Yeah.
and this and that. But it's like people when they go to the gym, and they don't know what they're doing. And when you don't know what you're doing, you spend more time
Thinking about what to do.
thinking about what to do.
It's
Again,
true.
it's like you're wasting that time. Like, time's precious. We're not here forever, man.
But I do think we've got a unique situation in the sense of we quite similar minded, and we're brothers, and we work together, and we're always with each other. So we kind of drill the same messages into each other, if that makes sense. So we've always got that person kind of motivating us, like, why are you doing this? You're meant to be doing this, or why are you doing that? You should be doing this, sort of thing. It's kind of it's a unique situation, because I think a lot of brothers in that they're not close, or it doesn't seem like a lot of them are close. Like, whereas we're kind of brothers, but
we're very different,
we're
but
like
we're
best
very,
friends in a
like,
way. Like,
similar.
we'll keep each other on track, whether we argue and stuff like that. That's normal, but we kind of push each other to the goals, or push each other, or try to do the same things, if that makes sense.
It's so sick that your brot's there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you're
it's
doing,
cool.
it's sick, isn't it?
Cool.
So we're at work talking about how to not be at work. Talking about, do you know what I mean? Every single day, drilling that same message. Like I was telling you before we started, like, I wake up every day and I have the same thoughts in my head. Like, what can I do with the podcast? How do I get more subscribers? How am I going to start doing sponsorships? How am I going to do ads? How am I going to do? These are all just running through my head every single day in, day out. Good thoughts, just how to improve and how to make the most of the situation.
What's been like, both of you, this be obviously separate answer. What's been your like biggest failure in life? But what have you actually learned from that failure?
Oh boy, biggest failure. That's a hard question.
That is,
you know?
that is,
I don't
I've never
always-
sat there and actually thought.
So there we
about
are then, that's good.
it. Biggest failure.
Oh,
I'll tell you a thing. This is probably it for me, because this does stick with me. And it was when I was younger, I think I peaked at football a lot before anyone else at playing football. And I'm not talking about any age. This was like year 4, year 5, year 6. And I was quite good at a young age, and everyone kind of started outgrowing me, and I got a bit unfit and stuff like that. And we'd have to do fit. So, you do the 6 weeks of pre-season training.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to AFC Dunstable, and we were playing, and we had to do the Cooper run. And I would actually pull out saying I was injured. Oh, I've got an injury, hamstring, but I was just tired. And I would bitch out mentally in my own head because I couldn't do the run and say, oh, I'm injured. Oh, I can't do it because of my hamstring. I can't do it because of this. So thinking back to times like that, that's probably my biggest failure in life, like bitching out on them sort of things. And now with training and stuff like that, I never do that. If it takes me 3 hours to do it, I'm going to do it till I finish, if that makes sense, if I go into something. So yeah, little lessons like that and that's only being a little kid, but you can still take lessons from them
100%.
little things.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
yeah. My biggest failure would be self-doubt, just doubting myself, just not thinking I was good enough. But then I think certain situations made me think I was not good enough. But the older I've got, I've just realised I can do anything. And regardless if that's training or this or that, I'm like, I can learn everything. Yeah, I might not be the quickest, but I'm willing to put the time in. So yeah, like self-doubt, just don't doubt yourself, man. Just go for it. Like,
That's that gospel.
green light. I wish I knew about the green light. Just go. Like,
Yeah,
just go.
there we are. There you go.
Green light.
I do love that.
Green fucking light.
Yeah, green
That's a
fucking
good
light.
question though, because
That is a very good question.
When it makes you think, they're questions that you should be thinking about more often.
Yeah.
And we do it a bit when we do our current events. We try to think of our moment of the week, because we structure it a little bit different from interviewing guests. So we try to do our moment of the week, and then sometimes we do what we could have improved on this week.
It's good that.
And to sit there and think about what you could have improved on or your moment of the week is so hard, because like we said, there's so many layers of bullshit that have happened through the week. You don't actually sit there and take a look at your own day or your own week and think what went well and what didn't go well and where you could improve. And I think people just need to sit back, maybe write a journal if that's for you, and just think what went well today, what didn't go well, and where can I improve?
Yeah, I
tomorrow?
love that. Reflection's
Love that,
key.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every single day, like at night, I ask myself 3 questions every night. Number 1, what was my biggest win today? So I highlight my biggest win, which is always easy to find, even if it's a little small thing. Like I woke up without jumping out of bed without like snoozing the alarm. Like that's a big win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a massive win.
Yeah,
That's a big win.
But doing that consistently as well is a game changer. My second question I always ask myself, what did I learn today? And that can sometimes actually actually make you think quite a while. And sometimes you're just reinforcing what you learn. But it's so good to reflect on what you learn, because you're doing,
100%.
you know, do that 365 days a year. You're like, oh, cool, I learned 365 new things this year. And then the final question to help you jump out of bed in the morning is, what am I excited about tomorrow? You know, like, rewind back to when you're a kid and you're waking up on Christmas Day and you're buzzing, you wake up without an alarm, you're fucking jumping out of bed. Like, because you're so excited, you know what's coming, so get excited. So if you can get that excitement energy before your day every day, you're going to wake up a lot more energized, ready to hit it.
We probably should live more like kids with that mindset of no fear.
100%.
Because now we think of rent and work and we got to do this. Everything's doom and gloom. We need to think more like.
But it's like when you grow up and you see adults and that, and you look at it's like you look at adults and you think they're superior than you. But once you start growing up, you actually start to realize
that's not the case.
Kids
don't
are
you?
just trapped in adults' bodies.
Yeah.
They're just like
That's
wandering
it.
around. They
Yeah.
don't know what they want because we don't grow up.
Yeah.
And I always used to think when I was little, I was like, you look at an adult and you think, oh, really, you must be really smart. But you get older and you're like, no, you're actually not.
Yeah. It's true though, isn't it?
It is.
I actually think I lost brain cells when I went to university.
Yeah.
I genuinely did. 50k to lose brain cells.
A lot of money to put out.
Great return that.
Yeah, fucking mental.
And before we wrap up then, so question we've got for you boys is, what's your freedom lifestyle?
What is it at the minute, or what do
Like,
I
what's
want it
it
to
mean
look?
to
What
you?
does freedom lifestyle
Yeah.
mean to you?
Freedom, like a big thing for me is I just want to be free financially. I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't want to be people coming up to me asking for autographs. I just want to live a life where I can get up out of bed, just say, for instance, if it's doing a podcast, do a podcast, go and film. I want control of my own life. I don't want to turn up to work and someone say, you've got to be here 9 to 5, but I complete all my work. No, you still need to stay to 5. Here's another job. Here's another job. Here's another job. I don't want that sort of life. I want a life where I can say to my missus, my brother, my dad, we're going Monaco tomorrow. We're going Dubai tomorrow. No, you ain't got to worry about nothing. We're going to be there for 3 months. I can do everything from here. And to me, that is freedom. That is my freedom lifestyle. That's my idea of freedom. So
Powerful.
Let's make it fucking out. What about you?
Yeah.
What about you, Ray? Your name's mad.
Yeah.
Fucking Rayne, man.
Mine's the same as in freedom, but at the same time, I want to. That's why with the podcast, I can see the vision because I want to impact as much people as I can. I want to uplift as much people as I can. I want to hopefully one day start my own charity where I can help and give. But like I said, by giving, I've always been a giver. It's why I think I helped him because I always bend over for someone to try and help him. Regardless, that's got me burnt a lot of times, but that's just the way I am inclined. So by that, I think for me, it's freedom, giving back, and just it all comes back in one circle. So just living a life like that.
and I
it's
do
not too much.
And I do think with starting something, it is important to have a good team. Like for instance, like we got Mikey who's behind the camera. We got Rayne and
Shout out Mikey. doing the
shout out
recording.
Mikey. Shout out Mikey. Sitting there watching that time on. But we got people like that, and these are two people where I might tell them on the day, we got this person coming around at 6. They'll drop all their plans and be like, right, we're doing this. This comes first for everyone here. And that's when you know we're all on the right path.
You're all in.
And that's when you know everyone's all in. Like, they might not know as much to do with the editing or to do with the photography or to do the videography. But if I ask them, can you do this for me? Can we do this tomorrow? Can you come with me to do this? They're all in. They're like that.
It is all about the
So,
team, man. You won't get
100%.
far if you ain't got a good team.
No,
like you said.
Teamwork
it's,
makes the dream work.
Yeah.
It's sick. Boys, it's been an absolute
Mate,
pleasure.
thank you for coming down, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a good day.
Thank you for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Good,
You
mate.
taught you've taught us a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
taught
Though?
me a lot
Like, there's
today.
going to be there'll be collaborations with us, and that's what it's all about.
100%.
Like networking's key, man. And
It is.
like for all our listeners, like go and follow. Like we'll put it in the link, but go follow their Instagram, the Curious Fijian, and their podcast.
Yeah.
Well, give it a favourite. Entrepreneurial lads in their 20s that are fucking escaping the rat race. But you guys, you seem to interview quite a lot of sports.
Yeah, well, see, we got this
we're,
again. We got this. Someone said this the other day. Like, we've been in this sort of thing of finding our niche because everyone says you need to find your niche on YouTube. You need to find your niche. And I was thinking, I thought our niche was personal journeys, but everyone's saying to us we do a lot with sports athletes. So I don't know
Which
now
is good, though.
if I'm
That's-
combat sports or personal journeys, but
Combination.
I think maybe we like the combat sports one because we're in Luton. For some reason, everyone does combat sports or boxing, MMA, anything. And I think it's the mindsets that go into it and how they dig deep and go in the fire and go in the trenches. They get battered every single day in training, wake up and go do it again, all
And you
for
know
a
what it's
specific
like if
goal.
you trained in something.
They're dieting 24/7. They don't eat the chocolate. They go and do the big runs. I think it's a mindset thing with them that I'm so intrigued in.
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
How do you dig deep, and how can I take whatever you're doing and implement it?
And from your boy's point of view as well, if that's the path you're going, like leave the house
Yeah.
to the universe.
Yeah,
Like, if
yeah.
that's the direction it's pushing you in, then just
Let's go.
don't
All
resist.
in.
Just
Yeah.
flow
So
with it,
like,
go with
so
it.
obviously, if you're into sports, like 100% go check them out because they've interviewed some crazy athletes. But
Yeah.
guys, it's been an absolute
No, it's
pleasure.
been a pleasure.
Come on, let's have it.
Freedom lifestyle, baby.